And God said, the fear of you shall be upon all that moveth upon the earth. Every moving thing shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you even as the green herb have I given you all things. Now, when we started, remember, I believe it's in chapter 2 where we read, God told Adam, I've given you every herb for meat. That's what he said. And he said, and all the animals, I've given them the herbs, the green leaves for meat. So the omnivorous. But now this is after the flood. Okay, we just got done with the flood in the previous chapter 8. And now in chapter 9, God introduces carnivorism. Is that how you say it? So now humans start to eat meat here. It's in chapter 9. Okay, so I'll read that again. And God said, the fear of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth. Every moving thing shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. Do you realize that God says, every moving thing shall be meat for you? Now, I don't want to get into the different kind of animals that are eaten around this world. But understand that decree came from here. We are reading it now. Okay. So it says, all that moveth upon the earth, and all and upon all the fishes of the sea, into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Okay. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood, shall ye not eat. Let me repeat that, verse 4. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. What does that mean? You shall not eat an animal with its blood in it. Why? God says, because the life of an animal is in its blood. So he gives a warning here. He says, do not eat flesh with the life thereof. So you see, he says, with flesh that has life in it. Okay. And then he says, which is the blood. So the life of flesh is in the blood. And God has given the warning that you should not eat an animal with the life in it. But do you know there's cultures that do that? There's cultures that eat animals with the blood in it. Okay. Now, the very strange thing that I find is, even in the New Testament, the Gentiles have been told again, do not eat. And this is the New Testament in the book of Acts. Gentiles, we were told, don't eat an animal with its life in it. Okay. Because the same thing was repeated. Okay. Verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Whoa, do you hear now? We are getting into the law here now. Okay. He says, whoever sheds a man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. And you be ye fruitful and multiply. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature, the fowl, the cattle, and beast. Neither shall all flesh be cut off by a flood. And God said, this is the token of the covenant. I do set my bow in the cloud. When I bring a cloud, the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will look upon that, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature. So this is talking about the rainbow, where he says whenever he sees it, he'll remember of the covenant. Can you imagine that? So every time the rainbow, you see a rainbow, God sees it too. And he remembers, yeah, I gave them a promise. I won't be drowning this place again. You know, very serious. When you see a rainbow, know that God is also looking at it. Okay. So he says, and I will look upon it, that I may remember that everlasting covenant between God and every living creature. And the sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Now, I want us to remember that, because later we shall find out that those were the Canaanites. Remember the land of Canaan? So, listen to this again. And the sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Okay. Of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. Okay. So Noah, after the flood, plants a vineyard, and then he drinks some wine, gets drunk, and he lies naked. Okay. So he says, and Ham saw the nakedness and told his brethren. So when Ham came in, and it's believed that Ham is the youngest of the three. So Ham walks in, finds the father lying naked, drunk, lying naked. And when he saw it, he went and told the brothers. He went and told Shem and Japheth. Now listen to what happens. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and went backward and covered their father. And Noah awoke and knew what his younger son had done. And he said, cursed be Canaan. Did you hear that? So remember, Shem, Ham, and Japheth are the sons of Noah. And Canaan is the son of Ham. Now, it is Ham who went in and saw the father's nakedness. And when the father found out about it, the father cursed the grandson. He cursed Canaan. He didn't curse the person who saw him. So you see, that right there, I know many people will be like, man, that is not fair. Canaan did nothing wrong. It was the father, Ham, who did it. But I'm telling you, welcome to the Old Testament. This is where you'll see all kinds of things that just, many of them will upset you, like this one here. So many will sympathize with Canaan and say he didn't do anything wrong. But remember what we said from the beginning. From the time man disobeyed God and obeyed the devil, we saw curses introduced onto this earth. We saw all kind of messes just making in. Because when man disobeyed God, he opened the door for sin and death. So all these stories that we are reading, this is just sin and death taking effect. These are the effects of sin and death and the curse. All negatives, all things that you will receive for obeying the devil. We are seeing the consequences, the results of obeying the devil. You see? So he says, and Noah awoke and knew what his younger son had done and said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Did you hear what he said? He said Canaan will be a servant of servants. I don't want to get much into this, but if you look at world history, you know that there are races that are known to be slaves almost to every other race. I don't want to mention it. Work it out yourself. You see that this was the origin of that curse. And an interesting fact you shall see later is where the children of Canaan, some of the grandchildren, what their names are. You'll find names like Egypt, Libya, are in the lineage of Ham. Can you imagine that? So meaning the descendants went in, in fact, one of the descendants, his name is Egypt. Another descendant is Libya. You see? So a lot of very rich history in the Bible. So it says, and Noah awoke and knew what his younger son had done and said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren, and blessed be the Lord of Shem. Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth. Canaan shall be his servant. Can you imagine that? So Noah is making Canaan the servant of all, just by his words. So, and then he says, verse 28, and Noah after the flood 150 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years. Imagine that. People are living that long. We saw that Adam lived 930 years. Now we are told Noah lived 950 years. Wow. Okay, chapter 10. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, and then it goes and names them, were the isles of the Gentiles, were the isles. No, I'm reading it wrong. The sons of Japheth. Let me just read them. Let me read their names. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tirsa. The sons of Gomer, and Ashkenaz, and Riphat, and Togramat. And the sons of Javan, Elishach, and Tarshish, Kittim, Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. The sons of Ham. Now listen to the sons of Ham. Cush. Do you remember we read about the land of Cush? And many people say that is now the Ethiopia. But did you hear the son, the son's name? So listen, the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, Phut and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah and Sabta and Rama and Sabteka. And the sons of Rama, Seba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be mighty in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of the kingdom, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calna, and Resen, between Nineveh and Calah. Listen, we are being given people's names and the cities that they built. Can you imagine? One person is known to have built a city. How much work goes into making and building a city? And these men are not only building one city, they are building cities. You see that? So, in fact, about Nimrod, you see from verse 10, it says, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Those are about 4 cities that Nimrod started. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and Rehoboth, and Calah, and Resen, between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Nephtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Kaluhim, one of whom came Philistim, and I believe that will be the Philistine in the future, and Captorim. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite. Do you see these are the same enemies that now Israel will later come to find? The Canaanites. Do you see again? It says, and Canaan begat. So whenever it says, you're going into the land of the Canaanites, you see they're being mentioned here. So, and Canaan, verse 15, begat Sidon, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest into Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations. So you see, even Sodom and Gomorrah were the sons of Canaan. Very serious. And to Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, and the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were born Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, Aram, and the children of Aram, Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber, and unto Eber were born 2 sons. One was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. So you see, it's like Peleg was given that name to signify the event that took place. The earth was divided. Okay. So, all right. And then I'll skip to these are the families of the sons of Noah. By these were the nations divided. You see, by those three sons, excuse me, by those three sons were the nations divided. So you've seen when you look at the sons of Canaan, the Canaanites, though you see they were even in Gaza, and those are the areas of Jerusalem. Those are in the land of Israel. You see, there's even problems there right now. That belonged to the Canaanites before. So remember, it is later that we will hear about the children of Israel going to replace the Canaanites. And you see that Canaan received a curse from the grandfather. You see. Yeah. But anyway, I think I want to stop there. Now, today what I did, I read a lot of those names. I'm trying not to read genealogies, but I think I just wanted to read that so that we later, whenever we get to the book of Exodus and we hear about the Amalekites and the Girgashites, and we at least know who they were. But I'll try my best to not to read every genealogy. That takes time. In fact, it takes practice. I'm very sure some of those names I didn't read them correctly. Okay. So, but anyway, thank you very much. I think we'll stop here today. So that was